Remember all these Nickelodeon shows from the past years? I hope you do, because I am a huge Nickelodeon fan. I used to watch shows like SpongeBob, Danny Phantom, and The Fairly Odd Parents. I watched them on a daily basis. But suddenly, I saw a Nickelodeon video game which was Nicktoons Battle for Phantom Hell. It was supposed to be called Battle for Volcano Island, which comes on the PS2. I took the disc and put it into my console, and then the menu popped up until I found Battle for Phantom Hell game. I pressed the square button on the controller. The cutscene started with SpongeBob looking so scared that Danny had his red eyes, as you've seen on the episode, controlled freaks. And Sam was watching from behind. She tried to hide from Danny, but then she ended up getting stabbed. Timmy Turner and his fairy friends Cosmo and Wanda tried to poof away, and Timmy tried to ran for his life. Hopefully he won't get killed. But then Danny once again followed him and grabbed and cut him right by the neck. When Cosmo and Wanda came back, they saw Timmy dead. Wanda was crying and Cosmo was crying in pain. And then the next scene showed Patrick and Sandy so scared, and SpongeBob was hiding in his room. Hopefully that Danny won't catch him. But then Danny appeared through the walls, and SpongeBob screamed as Danny stabbed him in the guts. And then Danny took over Volcano Island and it turned into a phantom hell. Every single one of the characters were tied up with his magic ghostly powers. Sam was so scared that she was about to cry. Tucker was there too, and he told Danny to let him go, but Danny did not listen. He just literally stabbed Sam's head and her eye. Tucker was doubtfully thinking that Danny must have gone insane. Cosmo and Wanda arrived, and then they saw Danny acting insane. Cosmo and Wanda tried to use their magic to stop him, but then Danny took control of the magic, and then he took Cosmo and Wanda with his own hands and pushed them to the ground. He beat them up by using a knife and an axe. Stab in the guts, and until blood was leaking out from their guts and to their eye sockets. When Patrick and Sandy came back, they saw blood everywhere. There was so much insanity going on inside of Danny Phantom. Patrick and Sandy Cheeks started to run away from him. Sandy was definitely thinking that this is probably the worst thing that could have happened. Sandy Cheeks said, "Why would Danny do this?" And Patrick said, "I don't know. I'm afraid he's gone insane. I wish he wouldn't have acting like this." But then suddenly Danny appeared with his glowing red eyes. Sandy and Patrick turned around and they screamed and they got chopped up with their heads. Sandy got an axe in her guts, and Patrick got his skin ripped off. And then the game ended automatically. The cutscene ended automatically. I was so afraid that I was gonna vomit on the floor. I did not know what was gonna happen. But before I knew it, the game started. I started to play as SpongeBob because he was my personal favorite. But I was in a POV mode because while I was in there, I heard some crying going on inside the cages. So I used the analog stick, which is as you see on the PlayStation 2 controller. I was walking by until I saw Timmy Turner crying. So I found the square, and I found the square that says "Talk to Timmy." So SpongeBob said, how did you get in here, Timmy?" But then Timmy, in a whimpering voice, he's like, "Daddy abandoned me here." I started to feel so bad for Timmy, but my heart was shattered when I saw Timmy like this. But then SpongeBob said, "Don't worry, Timmy. I'll find a way out of here, and I'll find a key for you guys." And Timmy said, "Thank you so much." So I moved on to find some of the keys and find some of the other people. But then while I was walking by, after a few minutes of walking, I saw Danny's girlfriend, which is Samantha Mason. She was crying, and then she was inside of her cage, heartbroken. So I walked up to her in my SpongeBob POV mode, and then SpongeBob said, Are you all right, Samantha? You look very heartbroken." And then she said, "I'm sorry, SpongeBob. It's just that Danny broke my heart." That's the way she said it. Kind of made me into tears. I couldn't stand to see my favorite characters like this. So then I decided to find some of the keys for everyone. Once I saved a few minutes after when I saved the characters, when I was about to save the last character, which was Timmy Turner. And then I was about to grab the key, but until then I saw Danny Phantom crying. And then once I grabbed the key, he turned around with his red eyes still showing and his teeth were sharp, laughing insanely. And he was chasing me down the hall. I got so scared that I used the PS2 controller to run. I tried to run down to the door, but then suddenly I couldn't get out. The door was locked, and then I ended up getting stabbed by Danny. And then after I get stabbed, a game over screen appeared. The game over screen sounded with Danny laughing insanely. It sounded like a Yandere simulator laugh. I was scared to death. And then the game turned off automatically. And then I realized to myself that I was never going to play with PlayStation ever again.